Welcome to day one of the Endless Leads Challenge. I'm so glad that you guys are here. The goal of the whole 3 days is to create a system where you can get leads into your business on autopilot. Now, one of the things that happens all the time is I have clients, especially my coaching clients, who will launch something or they have launched something in the past and they get two or three people to sign up and they're disappointed in the results that they get. And they start getting all up in their head, oh my gosh, nobody wants what I have to offer. Or maybe I need to add. Anybody ever done this? Just put yes in the chat if this has ever been you. Maybe I just need to add a couple more things to make it more enticing. Maybe I just need to add another PDF. Maybe I just need to add another call, right? So that happens all the time. When in reality, what's happening is nobody's even getting to the place where they see their offer. When we start looking at their numbers and a couple of people have signed up, only 100 people have seen that page or 30 people, right? Then it's just not enough people seeing it to really even make a determination. And so the first step, right, in deciding if your offer is good is getting people to see it, right? 300 eyeballs for sure, and you can begin to get some data. Closer to 1,000 eyeballs is even better. Now, this is not true if what you're selling is something that's high ticket, where you're having conversations and sales calls with people in order to sell them. So I know like it's such a wide range of things that people are offering. And how many of you guys here in the Zoom room too would say that you would describe yourself as multi-passionate, right? Like you have a lot of things that you love to do. Anybody else? Yeah, yeah, I know. Me too, Kathy. What happens then is they're over here talking about rest and productivity, and then they're over here talking about the mission of their business. And right, so they're talking about all these things because they all matter to them, but the audience is getting confused, right? They're like, wait, what do you help people do? So they're already trying to sort out in your brain, right? That's why they say you'll hear all the time niche down, right? And sell one thing. And I like niching down. I'll be honest with you about that. So, what's the difference? Niching down is like who your ideal client is. So, if I can pull that in, I always say this, and I'm not going to dwell too long about this today, but people worry about niching down because they're worried they're going to exclude somebody. And it just isn't the case. Right. And so maybe another time I'll do a different workshop that's look at all your offers and then create your ideal client from that because you want it to be the person who might need all of those at some point in time. Vivian, yes, and I've already added another leg of the business in quarter 4. Yeah, because Vivian, I introduced you guys to Yolanda earlier. Vivian is our newest Snack Week director in Houston. Yay. Yes, we just add an ad. And it's definitely not the problem. When I look at their numbers, the conversion rate is good. When I look at somebody who has 2 people out of 20, it's a 10% conversion rate, which is unheard of, or something like that. It's a numbers game. And as a former math teacher, I remember the moment that somebody told me it's just a math problem, right? So if I'm looking at how many people I need to convert and I can back that up using benchmarks and percentages. So the first place that I always like to look is, do we have enough leads? Do we have enough people seeing what we are offering? And so today, day one of the Endless Leads Challenge is really what I call focused promotions. So it's being able to take all of those things that you are promoting as a multi-passionate entrepreneur and putting them in an order and finding the thread that runs through them that makes them make sense. And then it's like this system of promoting one thing at a time for a month, creating a transition that takes them to your next offer again, that makes sense, right? So instead of popcorning all over the place with all your different offers, it's a focused promotion, right? So we have all these different offers. They may even all be available to purchase on our website all at the same time, right? But what we're talking about and promoting, we are doing in a focused way and for a chunk of time, right? For a full month. My best example of this is my friend Jessica. Some of you guys know her, and she's my branding photographer. So anytime you see a picture of me, 9 times, actually 99 times out of 100, I was going to say 9 out of 10. I have a few that other people have taken, but normally she has taken them. She does branding, she does maternity, she does motherhood, she does boudoir, she does family portraits, right? So she has all of these things, but she wants to be referable. And so we took her different types of photography, put them in an order that makes sense, thought about the months that created the most demand for each type of photography, and created an email sequence to go along with those. Email sequence, social posts, and what you're talking about when you're out networking, like all of that stuff. If you can do the same product for a month at a time, it's going to help. And it helps a lot if you can put them in order and then put them in. So I want to take a couple of minutes and just on a piece of paper, write down really quickly, like all of the things that you're selling, right? So that's the homework, part of the homework for today is just write down all of the stuff that you sell at some point in the year. For some of you, that looks like VIP days and challenges and workshops. For others of you, it just depends on the products, right? If you're in insurance, it might look like life and auto and home. If you are in finance, right, it might look like different types of investments that you want to focus on. So it's just this idea of focused promotion. So Jay Fish asked about how about service industries? So the service industries are, for her, Jay Fish is an event planner. I know that, right? And so when you're talking about service industries, do you mean specifically event planning, or do you mean like what different service industries? I'm just going to have you come off mute.
Yeah, specifically my business of providing a service, because it's all service, it's not product. The ROI on my clients it's measurable, but it's not tangible. It can be, but it's.
The nice thing about that is for you specifically is you're very much, you do one, like you do event planning, and that's all you, that's what you do. The way I would think about this then is what are the different kinds of events that people have you plan for? And when does it make sense to start talking about those? So when you're looking, like I would think here in January, Easter celebrations might be something. So you want to be looking ahead a little bit. VA services, virtual assistant. Yeah, Renee, I knew that. And video podcast production. So Renee, in your virtual assistant services, what are the different things people hire you to do? So that's what I would be writing down. So is it email writing? Is it blog writing? Is it tech virtual assistants? So what are the things? And then how? Think about how you sell those as well. So do you offer VIP days for people? Are you offering a course? Are you offering workshops? Or is it just one-on-one? Like you just jump in with them and figure out only just what they need. Yep. Bookkeeper does sell all, most of the people who are in do a service, right? VA services, bookkeeper. So when you're thinking about this, I want you to think more along the lines of ideal client. And if that goes mixed through. So Andrea, I know she does social media content. By the way, big hand to Andrea. She does most of NACWI's social media content and we love it. She's amazing. And I would say you can focus on different kinds of products or services, right? Services are products. or you can focus on different types of the same thing. So when we were talking about JFish, like different types of events, different social media channels. And if you only have a couple, great. It actually takes a lot of complexity out of what we're talking about, right? It's when people have 5, 6, 7 different things they're talking about, or you think about Vivian. So Vivian is our newest NACWE director, like I mentioned. They do, I'm gonna actually let her explain it because I'm like, they do this processing stuff and stuff that helps business owners.
Yeah, we are investors. So I work with my husband as a team. He is on the retail real estate side of real estate. And then I also wholesale and we buy and hold as many houses as we can. So that's our main focus right now. Then under that, we have partnered with a lot of cool companies that you might know or use, like AT&T, Vivint Home Security, a really popular payment processing company. And we work with businesses and also homeowners to evaluate their bills that we're talking to every day, right? And we help them save money by offering them wholesale prices on the things that either already using or that they can switch to pretty easily and save some major money by those wholesale discounted prices. And we, of course, get affiliate pay from that. And then I'm the new Houston NACWE director. So I'm very excited about what God has for NACWE in Houston.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see how they're a little bit more, right? Not along, it's not like different kinds of events or different kinds of photography. It could be some different kinds of investments. I know she does a couple of different things there. And also the service that provides services for those people. She could split those out as well. And in the focus promotions section, what I want to talk about is what we want to pick. We want to pick just one thing for this specific challenge, just because it'll be a repeatable process. You can do this over and over again. But for the sake of the 3 days, we can't do 20. So we're going to pick one. So as you look through what you're offering, put in the chat like the one sort of thing you want to focus on right now. Okay, awesome. Seasons of Me. Lunch and Learns. I love that idea. Susan, who does the membership in our World of Food community. Diagnostic reviews with Catherine. Video podcast production with Renee. That's very good. Jennifer Hampton is here in Tucson and does pre-planning of funeral services. You guys think yours is hard to sell? Try to tell people they should plan for when they die. But really, I love her statement because she says we are planning to live. I love it. Dr. Phyllis says one-on-one coaching. I know you said call you Phyllis. I will do that. Bible-based art prints. Coaches Command Center. Oh, I love that, Janine. I'm really close. Yeah, okay. Speaking, I love that. Spiritual exercise is good. And then evergreen courses. So when you say evergreen courses, Carmen, are you picking one course or, because what we're going to do this week is think about how we're bringing those leads in. And so we need to be able to talk to them. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about messaging. And yeah, just pick one. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about messaging. So we need to be able to be talking, right, to that exact person. So if you look at the list of everything you offer, if you could come up with one person who needs all of it, then that would be somebody who could be your ideal client, right? She could be pieces of all the little things. So social media content for Christian coaches. I love that, Andrea, because it like focuses you in on just one little subsection with the coaches. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's look at the threads and really let's go through if there's anybody here who wants to talk through really quickly. everything that you offer and like trying to pick one for right now for this challenge, or looking for the thread that runs through it. Anyone? Sometimes it's easier to like, yeah, Kathy.
I'll be the guinea pig because
Sure.
I'm very regulated in what I can post.
Yeah.
And so I'm a do it yourself shop.
Okay.
And I am a fabulous financial advisor.
Yep.
But I am not digitally, I'm okay on Facebook and posting, and I can do a lot of the stuff, but I can't create anything in Canva or whatever. And everything I do has to go through compliance first. So it's a real pain in the patootsky.
Okay.
Now, my niche market is single women, divorcees, widows,
Mhm.
because they need a woman to listen to them and help them get unstuck, unscared,
Okay.
So,
Okay. So in those cases, I always like to say, let's think about your niche market, your ideal client here, single women who have been divorced or widowed, possibly, who really want a woman to listen to them. We listen differently. Before she jumps into hiring a financial planner, what is the thing that she's thinking about? What is she trying to figure out?
some people don't feel like they have enough assets. They're not worthy enough, or don't feel like they don't even know really where to start because they don't understand. In the case of a divorce or being a widow, they may end up with assets they don't even have a clue what they are. So they're embarrassed. They have some shame that they feel like they should, so they should on themselves.
Yeah.
And it's, if I can, if I just ignore it long enough, maybe something will happen and God will come down and strike it and I'll be okay.
Mhm. And then when they become your clients, is it like different things you're offering them to buy, or is it, I know it's a service, I'm just trying to figure out
Well,
exactly.
what I do is I find out what their goals are. I do needs-based financial planning. So I find out what their goals are. How old are they? What are their, if they've got kids, are they looking to help fund college? Some people want to, some people don't. Are they close to retirement? Do they have any retirement money? Do they have life insurance? Have they ever heard of long-term care? So I just ask a lot of questions and I find out what they currently have,
Okay.
where do they want to go? And then I'm fully licensed, so I have an array of things that we can talk about depending on what their goals are.
Okay. Yeah, I would say there's a couple things here. And this, it starts leaning into tomorrow's, which is about messaging. But
Okay.
but for you, we're going to focus really on her as an ideal client. When we start thinking about how to bring her in leads, the beauty of your, now let me ask you this question because I don't know with the regulations.
Okay.
Can you send emails to a list that are story based if they're either like parable or like they don't have that person's actual name or identifying information? Can you just tell stories?
You mean like on social media, I can just tell stories?
Like on social media or or in an email campaign. So let's say you have a list of people that because that's leads are, it's really growing your email list for the most part. We can do other ways. We do have people, like all of the people in the Facebook group are leads, but if I can get them in my own system, then I can email them. And in the world of when I'm talking about focused promotions, what I'm wanting to do is send 4 emails in a row and then coordinate my social media with it. that says, Mary found herself after divorce. Here's the problem she had. And we worked together. And then I have a process, like too emotional. We buy emotionally, we justify logically.
Right.
So a couple of emotional heartstrings kind of emails, and then a direct call to action, and then a logical justification at the end of that. So that's my 4 in a cadence.
Okay.
They all have a story in them. So can you tell those stories regulatory wise?
If compliance says it's okay to do that,
Okay,
I might be able to get
Just
away
run it
with
through.
it. I don't know, to be honest with you.
okay,
I have done some podcasts and people have sent me questions, so I've gathered those emails, but my email list for my business per se is really only my client base.
okay.
So I don't have, because I can't post testimonials on Facebook, so maybe I'm not a good example.
No, it's
And but I could see that would be extremely useful and investigating. I could always ask. And right now, to be honest with you, where I'm leaning is, you're familiar with the book that just got published.
Yeah,
And I have my chapter in there called What I Didn't Know Cost Me Plenty.
Mm,
And I did send that through compliance and they were perfectly fine with the chapter and
right.
all that good stuff. I'm thinking that particular chapter, somehow or another, I can draw little pieces out of it to talk about money mindset or what other different,
Right.
that.
No, I love that. And that is a good, because what has been coming through my mind again, which kind of leans into tomorrow, which is fully okay. But it's this idea of 5 mistakes women make 5 financial mistakes women make as they go through divorce, 5 financial mistakes. And then as you're talking about this, what I didn't know cost me plenty. There
Mhm.
really could be like basically a bullet point list of that chapter as a lead magnet that you can use. So for something like financial planning, you're really leaning hard on that education side of content. Even in all of your social posts and all of those things can be basically, don't jump in. It could be one of the products you're thinking about. So don't jump into the stock market until you talk to me. Throw money at it.
Right.
So just start thinking around those lines.
Okay. Yeah, the
And
education part is the part that I am passionate about, because the business will come after I educate them and they can make an informed decision and feel comfortable. It's just getting in front of them is the more difficult part. I can promote everybody else in the world, but promoting myself up until now has been not my forte.
Yeah. I love that the book gives you that outlet. Yeah. And so
And I did put it in the group, by the way.
oh, good. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I do like that. And then maybe look around, like Carmen mentioned. Was it Carmen? Yeah. What is Ashton Thomas doing? Is it Edward Jones? The big companies, what are they doing on social? Is it just education? But yeah, so I think for you, the idea of getting an email list of people who might want you to become their financial planner later, that's where I want you to be thinking about.
Okay.
And that it calls out to this woman.
Right. Yep.
Is that helpful?
Very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate the time, and ladies, I appreciate your patience. I hope it
Anybody
was
else?
helpful for everybody.
Yeah, no, so I think there's a few questions to ask yourself always, which is, what's the question they're at, where I started with, right? What is that question they're asking themselves? What are they looking for? Right before they know they need, right before they find you, right?
Right.
Like, what is that thing? What's that question they're asking right before they find you? Yeah, Janine's right. She said it's hard to see the label from inside the jelly jar. I always say none of us can see our own eyebrows. Anybody else who wants to walk through some of theirs?
I'd like to.
Sure,
So
Carmen.
because I started thinking, I was like, I don't know if the evergreen course is where I want to go. Because I'm a faith and empowerment coach and speaker, and I'm leaning more into the speaking and then leaning more into doing trainings within organizations. And I also do diversity, equity, inclusion work. So my goal this year is to lean more into LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
and to get in those spaces. And I probably because of what you said earlier about we put something out there and nobody does it. So I'm tired of like individuals. I'm like, I need corporate contracts, 5-figure contract at a time where I'm doing a training or some coaching or consulting with them over a period of time. So my goal this year is to lean more into LinkedIn.
Okay. And
Which
is
is
there,
not a platform I'm super savvy on.
yeah, I'm with you. I need to lean into LinkedIn a little more this year as well. Everything I look at Ideal Client Wise is there on Facebook and LinkedIn. And yeah, so it's like, why am I putting energy into anything else? They're in those two places. It's the power of knowing who your ideal client is.
Yeah.
So in this, I'm assuming then we're talking about, because you just mentioned corporations, are there specific revenue levels of corporations that you're looking for, or a specific type of corporation or specific size? Is there anything that narrows that down?
Yeah, I say faith driven or faith focused, but it's always not faith is not the forward thing. So there's some companies where you would never know, but what they don't promote it or anything, but they definitely have faith-based values and the organization. So I would say those organizations. And then I'm thinking around like the maybe 500 to less, or maybe even up to 1,000 employees, but I tend to really thrive in if I can get with a group of about 25 to 50 people where we can do some breakouts and I bring everybody back together and we do some real hands-on tangible things.
Yeah. So for the training you would like to offer these corporations, you mentioned diversity and
Mhm.
equity
Yeah.
and inclusion. Is that all one training or is that a few different things?
So it's several different trainings under that topic. Yeah. So to help, so from an organizational perspective, I have a model that takes the organization that helps assess where they are and then where they want to be and what are some practical steps they can take. But then I have that same model that can be applied for the individual because we say organizations, but these are people that,
No, I know.
that run
They're all,
organizations. Yeah,
that's even when
so
people talk about corporations, I'm like, they're still run by people.
exactly. So yeah, that piece. Although I work with a team on the diversity work, and we actually have a like a headhunter kind of thing that helps find our clients for that, and that's been working okay.
Okay.
But for me personally, going in and doing workshops around visioning and personal growth, spiritual growth, development, those are my courses to take into organizations and overcoming imposter syndrome and elevating your belief and those things.
Okay. Now with that size corporation, I am assuming that the person you're talking to is not necessarily the CEO, right? So what position is that person typically in who ends up finding you and contracting you?
Yeah, it's been like mid-level managers or even somebody from HR that
Okay.
is doing organizational effectiveness. And it's like they may have heard about a training I've done. I have a training I'm doing for, I mean, it's really small group, but like our local chamber, one of the local chambers who saw me do a facilitation for another group. And then from there, I'm doing one for a small real estate agency. So it's like those kind of word of mouth is how I haven't done a lot of marketing on that.
Okay. And then the other question that I have for you is if you think about this list of all of these workshops you do for these corporations, is there one that for them is the easy yes? Like it's the one they gravitate to the quickest, or it's the one that they know they need, right? There's some compliance issue that they need this particular workshop and the other ones would be nice to have?
Mm.
Mhm.
I'd have to, yeah, I think I've done one around communication. I call it like conscious communication,
Mhm.
and like how to have conversations and really build relationships through like connecting. So it's how we talk to people. It's that kind of thing. What I'm doing this week though, which is probably because it's fresh on my mind, that's why I'm thinking about it. But it's really like more inspirational, like supporting people in like what do you want to do, connecting the work that they do to the vision of the organization and that kind of
Right.
work.
Yeah,
Um, so I need to sit with that probably.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I think, what I would do if I was you this evening is just think through those individual workshops. And then think
Mhm.
through what's the one that you can focus on promoting that will bring these type of corporations in that you want. What is the one that has, I'm not even gonna say the most benefit for them, because you might know, hey, connecting your spiritual stuff with your corporate stuff gives you the most benefit, but they're not already thinking that. So it's like this, what are they already thinking will create the most benefit for them?
Yeah, I'm thinking something around emotional and like that piece, that workshop that I do on that. But yeah, okay.
Okay,
I'll give it some thought. Thank you.
yeah, and then tomorrow we'll talk about messaging for that specific one.
Okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah, of course. Um, anyone else?
So yeah, Heather, I got one.
Okay,
Planning events is something that a lot of people don't even realize that's a service that can be done for them. Lots of people enjoy doing events on their own. If any of us have planned a Thanksgiving dinner, we're an event planner. It's that getting them to that point of, and not everybody's a good client for me, but quite often they either will say, oh, we'll just do it. This is how we did it last year, and this will be the easiest, but it's not the best. Or they get way overwhelmed with all of their own ideas that they can't then synthesize it. Or somebody is in charge of doing, especially like these lunch and learns, and usually it's some marketing person or some admin that has that skill set, but it's not in their job description. And so like I can make the point on, I can save them money because what they were having to spend their time doing outside of their job description, because they're not productive in the company anymore. But again, it's, yeah, the difficulty is getting them to listen because they don't even realize, they don't even know what they are missing out or what is possible.
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that, like in the like not knowing what's possible. Can I hire somebody just to do dinner or a lunch and
Yeah.
learn?
Mhm.
But if where you
Or-
want to focus is is the lunch and learn. So talk to me for just a minute about your ideal client.
So my ideal client would be a small-ish, like 20 to 50 employer business, doesn't matter what kind of business, or it would be a small, very small nonprofit. So just those two. And basically it's because they're small enough that they see the benefit of doing an event as part of their overall marketing campaign, but it's usually somebody, like I said, somebody in the marketing team, or it's somebody's secretary, somebody's admin, that it's not in their job description. So those would be right now my perfect clients. But again, it's that admin that may not be the one that's making the decision. They may be the one that's, oh, we totally need to hire Jay Fish, but then yet they've got to work it up the ladder. Yeah.
Okay. So I would, if you want to focus on lunch and learns, and this is your ideal client, that's picked what you want to focus on for this part of the focus promotions. But as we lean a little bit into messaging for tomorrow, I would be thinking about what are the things, again, like mistakes that happen because they're trying to do both, because they're trying to do their job and plan this lunch and learn.
Okay.
Or, yeah, like it could
Yeah.
even be X number of things to remember.
Mhm.
And it's a list of things that will help them to remember all the things. But when they look at that and then read the bottom, oh, I can just hire somebody to do this. That's the idea for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Catherine asked, does focusing on one area at a time translate into conversion with a potential client? Or is it the key to getting a potential client into a conversation in order to promote the one thing? Yeah, I think, Catherine, that twofold there, like, good question. The idea behind like the focused promotion and promoting one thing at a time is allowing, we know people have to hear something 7 to 11 times before they actually realize what they're even hearing, right? Like before it registers. And if we're jumping all over, then we're jumping here and here, and it's confusing their mind. Whereas if we focus on it for just, then it like cements in their mind, oh, she offers bookkeeping and she offers spiritual formation classes, right? Like those two don't seem connected. And so I need to talk about them. And then you're bringing them into your world so that then they start getting to know you, and then they understand who you are. So really, for a lot of people, they're promoting more than one thing, and that causes confusion. If we pull that back and only promote one thing at a time, we increase clarity. And whether or not they buy that one thing, they now are in your world and you can sell them like the other things. And so anything that's more high ticket typically requires a conversation. Some kind of, I know in the room, there's a lot of coaches, like around a few of us, so some kind of launch event. Sometimes too, we also think, oh, if we just open it, they will come, right? Instead of some type of workshop that's a launch event, a challenge like this, so the lead magnet is the first step in that, and then something else, and then we can promote the thing, or we can get on a sales call, right? Like sometimes we forget and we complicate things, and the answer is just call them on the phone. So, Robin, you mean I can't promote my tax business and my spiritual directness business at the same time with the same people? That's what I mean. Yeah, she knew. I've known Robin for a long time, and she's an amazing enrolled agent, and we're in tax season right now. I don't know if you want me to tell everybody that or if you're way too busy. Anyway, she's usually way busy. But yeah, so her problem has been getting a potential client to commit to the phone call. So then they just need a little bit more know and trust from you before feeling like they want to jump on the phone. So sometimes that means what we're talking about now, creating a lead magnet and getting their email and getting them to download it, and then actually emailing your list creates that. And then they'll schedule the call, right? When they start feeling that need, or you can reach out. Catherine, tell me a little bit about what you do so that I think I knew at one point. I don't know. Are you willing? Sorry. You're
Oh,
muted.
there we go. There we go. Couldn't get the thing to unmute. I started my business a year ago. I've been a bookkeeper off and on for 25 years. After my youngest graduated high school, I got bored, and my husband and my best friend both encouraged me to go back into bookkeeping full time on my own terms. And since that's what I like to do, and so with all of the new technology and cloud-based software and everything, it is way better to do it than the old-fashioned way. But it's my struggle, I think, is I know a lot on how to talk about the services that I do. Obviously, it's simple things such as categorizing or reconciling a bank account or credit card, to a payroll, making sure that somebody's employees are paid properly. I pretty much do everything but file taxes. I don't do taxes. That's a headache. My brain does not
So
need
meet
it.
Robin. Yeah. So do you have an ideal client, an ideal person you do bookkeeping for?
My ideal client is small businesses, usually with 20 or fewer employees. I like to help those who maybe know they need the help, but they're too afraid to ask for the help. A lot of small business owners, I know myself included, this is not the first time I've had a business. I always felt that it was my responsibility to take on every aspect of the business and do it myself, but I'm also a little bit of a control freak. So being able to outsource to somebody else felt like I wasn't staying on top of everything. So I understand that struggle. And I think for me, it's just more conveying, or I don't know, sympathize is not the word I'm looking for.
What do you
Um,
offer that puts that objection at ease? Like this, I won't know what my numbers are because somebody else is looking at them and I'm not looking at them every day and I won't know what decisions to make and I'm not staying on top of it.
I offer, let's go over your profit and loss. That way I can explain it to you and you'll know where your money is. I just try to, I just try to listen to a potential client and focus on where they seem to be struggling. Like several I have talked to over the last year, they're like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to expand my business because I don't know where my money went. And I just ask simple questions like, have you had any big expenses this year? Have you maybe hired new employees? And try to get them to open up a little bit, but it's very difficult, especially when it comes to their business finances. They don't like to talk too much about that. Usually what I get is, oh, I really do need to talk to you about bookkeeping. And it's then let's set up a conversation privately someplace on the phone, Zoom, whatever. Oh, sure, I'll look at my calendar. And then they never commit. And then you get ghosted.
Yeah, no, I know. And I know it is, it's a money mindset thing, right? It's a fear-based, dare I say, trauma response thing too.
I actually agree.
To money. I know for me, and maybe some of this is like telling stories. We'll think about more into this tomorrow a little bit, but for me, my dad was one of 11 and they grew up very poor. And then him and his brother started a company and it struggled for a while. And then through some things, 20 years in, it started becoming really successful. Fairly successful though right away, and more than his family had typically done, right? So then all of a sudden he had family members asking him for money, like all this stuff that comes along with this appearance of success. Yeah, Carissa, we need to collaborate. Where it starts his like, so then he goes down this road of we don't talk about money. And it's not because he doesn't have any.
Right.
So we can't even say it's because it's not something we talk about. And so that kind of gets ingrained in people from very young ages for different reasons. And so getting them on the phone for you is combating all of that.
Maybe I should have finished that bachelor's degree in psychology.
Right? It's true. There's a lot of that. Even after you tell me, even after they hire you, are they still sometimes not getting you the information, not getting you linked up to their accounts, right? There's all this shame and guilt behind what they're spending money on, how they're spending it. People have told them they're frivolous, right? It's just a bunch of junk wrapped up in there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that when you start thinking about that person, right, it's the too afraid to ask for help person that you mentioned. Start thinking about how you offer things differently. Maybe it is like a monthly check-in so they can know where they stand, or maybe Maybe it's access to ask you questions at any time in email or Voxer or something, right? What are you offering? And then what can we highlight, right? That makes that person okay to ask for help.
Okay.
We just have done to offer creation instead of, that's okay. Because I like it. If that's your ideal client, I want you to think of how can you serve them? Like how can you alleviate that?
I'm gonna start by saying a lot of prayers tonight
Good plan.
for
Always a
myself.
good place to start.
Oh, I'm not real sure how. Compassion is not one of my strong suits, and I'm not very good at talking to people either. I mainly just sit there and listen
Yeah.
until I think I have something that I can opine with.
The
But,
nice thing about that is as we go through this week and we start tomorrow talking about messaging and creating a lead magnet that they will want, right? That they will opt into. You have the words they're speaking. You know what they're saying. Right? So we want to be thinking about how we can use their words to pull them in, right? The idea is to get them to raise their hand and be like, oh yeah, that's me. And so
I look forward to this course then.
I'm looking up in the comments, Janine, painful things they want to avoid. Yeah. I will procrastinate forever if I don't like the subject we have to talk about. There's just there's so much value connected to money that doesn't belong there that drives me a little crazy, obviously. Like I'm like, ah. But yeah, but it's tough and people struggle with it. And Carissa, who is in the room, I think still. Did she have to jump off? I don't see it right here now. Yeah, she must have had to jump off. But she does a lot of that mindset stuff. She's very good at it. So she would be somebody good to, for all of you guys, her like bookkeepers and stuff to connect with. And because once people are done with her, they're going to have a much easier time with you. I'll get you information faster. And really, I think maybe trying to lean in on this. I know people say all the time, they're not like bookkeeper wise. I'm not judgmental. I really like it. I like untangling the puzzle, but people have to really feel that and believe it.
Mm-hmm.
They really have to feel not judged. And so sometimes maybe that's telling stories that are, oh, if she could deal with that, mine's easy, right? Like stories that are
Right.
crazy, because if she can do all of that, mine's easy. So maybe that too.
I will make a note of that.
Yeah. Yeah, Janine's right. They have to believe they can do it. So they have to believe it can be done. And then they have to believe it can be done, like they can do it. And then they have to believe that you're the person to help them. So that's like the 3 sort of hurdles of belief
Mm-hmm.
for them to get through. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. It wasn't on the list, but it might be good. Okay. Anybody
Thank you.
else? Yeah, of course. Thank you. We have 15 more minutes and then I'm gonna figure out why I can't stream live into the group and get that set for tomorrow and get the video uploaded into the group. And then we'll jump back in here tomorrow, same time. Anybody else? Okay.
Just a question, if we can't make it tomorrow, you will have the video so that we can watch
I
the
will
replay, right?
definitely record it. I think it's gonna be streamed into the group.
I have an appointment at this exact
Yeah.
time tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, but I'd like to see the replay. So thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. Absolutely. So thanks, you guys. What I want you to do tonight is go post in the group what you're getting leads for. So what is the offer that you are, what do you do? What are you getting leads for?
I have
you
a
know,
question.
bookkeeping clients with your ideal client as well. Go ahead, Chi.
All right. Sorry, I logged in late. I was
That's
trying
okay.
to log in since 4 o'clock. For some reason, it wasn't getting me in.
Hmm.
Would we be able to get this recording?
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. We'll get it as soon as we possibly can and get it uploaded and sent out. Janine might be willing to help me. Lindsay might be willing to help me. Yay. Yeah. I didn't. So it's so funny when you guys jump in here. I saw the conversation earlier between Carmen and Carissa. I was like, I didn't know you were in NACWE. I didn't know you were in NACWE. So that's fun. I love this. Awesome. I want to pray really quick and then I'll stick around here if you guys have more questions. Yeah, Catherine, there's Vivian's information so that you can hook up with her about Houston. So I'm going to just pray for us and then I'll work on all my technology stuff. So Father God, thank you. Thank you for each and every woman in the room, Lord. Thank you for the vision and the mission that you have put on her heart. God, I love, we can sit here today, excuse me, and talk about all these things, and we're all so different and have things that are in common, not the least of which is our foundation and belief in you and the gift of salvation through Jesus. And so I just thank you for that. Excuse me. I ask, Lord, that you would, as these women are thinking tonight through this idea of focused promotions, like what, bring clarity to their minds, highlight the thing that you want them to focus on right now, highlight the thing that is the next best step for them and for what people need, what their people need. So I ask, Lord, that you just speak with each and every one of them. Lord, we love you. We don't want to do anything without you. And so we just thank you for who you are in our lives. We ask, Lord, that you make our yes faster. We ask that you keep us following from behind and not following from the front, and that we only go where you would have us go, Lord. I give you full permission in my life to redirect every single time that you see me or anyone else in the NACWE organization going off course. And so I just ask that you gently push us back on. And so I thank you. I love you. I praise you. I ask that you bless each one of these women in the room as they move forward with their day. And we'll see them tomorrow in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you all.